Starting now, this is Real People. Real issues. Real news. Real people.
I'm Stephanie Allensworth, and this is Real People.
This is Real People.
Hi, welcome to Real People. I'm Stephanie Allensworth. Today I am here with the founder of the Love One Another organization, Mr. Alan Law. Now, welcome to the show, Alan. Thanks for being here today. And we want to just talk today about all the wonderful things that you are doing for the homeless, the hungry, and just you dedicate 100% of your time and all of your resources to helping others. How did you get started in that?
Well, it's probably a strange life in one sense. I started teaching school. I taught 32 years in Minneapolis. I actually had even talked to the principal and said I wanted to start an after-school program, my first day teaching. So for out of the 51 years I've been on the streets, for the first 47 years, you'd find me with a group of kids every day, academic, and then different activities that we're involved in. I taught mostly on the north side at that time. I'd find myself on Friday and Saturday and Sunday night at the Capri Theater with 100 kids from the projects. Oh. And people didn't want to go near the projects in those days, but that was it. So for 29 years, I paid for the program myself, which showed I wasn't a very good businessman then, and I guess probably I'm still not in that sense. And then in 1996, I woke up one day and I said something better change, and I looked in the yellow pages, went down and talked to Claire Top at Dorsey Whitney, incorporated the program. We're a 501c3 with no salaries, no deferred compensation, no expense account. And then up until about 3.5, 4 years ago, I was with kids every day, and I found myself it's almost impossible to do what I do and still work with groups of young people every day. Mm-hmm. And so basically that's it. My mother had lost her eyesight and asked me to move into an apartment down the hall from where my parents lived in Edina. So I moved out of Minneapolis. Wasn't my desire, but out of respect to my mother, I did. That's where I've got 17 freezers.
Yeah.
And basically last year, passed out 850,000 sandwiches, mostly made by churches, schools, businesses. I will also mention it's not a religious program, but I am a Christian, and this is my 20-hour day. Every day I volunteer 20 hours. I live on my pension and take no vacations, and I never complain. And I can't complain because I don't have to do it, and I will not quit under any circumstances unless cancer comes for the third time in 6 years, but right now it's okay.
So 20 hours a day.
A day.
You're aware that there's only 24, right?
I realize that, and I spend the nights on the streets.
Walk in the streets?
Well, I walk and I drive. I bring food to quite a few different places. Salvation Army, 3 Salvation Army, Catholic Charities, Sharing and Caring, Unity Gospel Mission, a lot of different organizations in addition to people on the streets, Mad Dads, and a lot of other things. Pass a lot of bus tokens out. I'm very fortunate that I can buy bus tokens for half price for $1 through Metro Transit. I usually pass out an average of 150, 200 bus tokens every night for people stranded on the streets that have no place to go.
So the bus, they allow
you
to ride
2.5 hours on one token, the bus or light rail, to keep you safe, and of course in the winter keep you safe and warm.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's fantastic.
So
you have these people working with you and giving you discounts because they know of your reputation. Yes. So many honors. You've been honored by so many people around town. You're on shows all the time. I hear you were just here shooting another segment for somebody last month.
For someone else, and yet I've never called for this. I've never. I used to desired a lot of things as far as publicity or anything, but this is what I do, and also rent 7 storage rooms at Public Storage.
Well, right, because you get so much.
We have so many things come in, and as I said, last year it was 2,200 blankets. This year it'll be more than that. 7,000 pair of socks. This year it'll be 13,000 pair. Wow. And most are donated through different organizations. And last year I was in 350 churches, 135 schools, 130 businesses, and so I do appreciate a lot of wonderful people that are helping this program out. And the goal of the program is changing lives. Nothing to do with religion. It's changing lives, help you to help not only yourself, but help other people.
To love one another.
That's right. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. So when these organizations help you, they're doing it specifically for you? Are they doing drives for the Love One Another organization?
Well,
or?
some churches and so forth, you know, have the, and again, the bottom line is there's a lot of the organizations that have their own shelters and so forth that have their own programs, and I just bring a lot of things there and try to encourage them to go out in the streets and do some things too, because it's virtually impossible for me to cover the entire city every night.
Oh yeah,
and then part of St. Paul, and realizing that there's poverty all over.
Exactly.
I mean, this is the thing that surprises a lot of people. The number of people, and I've been in a year ago Chanhassen, I think they had 7 homeless kids in the high school.
Wow.
But I go
Chan, right? Where you would never expect that.
You wouldn't expect this, and now you're looking at Maple Grove and some of where a lot of the schools will put food in backpacks for kids for the weekend.
Oh,
so even though they're wonderful and they're, for the most part, a lot of wealthy people, but there's still a lot of people there that are really struggling. And how many people are one paycheck away from being homeless?
That's true. That's true. I think most of us are.
So.
You know, they always say you can be very, very house rich, but wallet poor, right? You have this big fancy house and you can't afford to pay for food and, you know, and wow, it's at night I drive around, and then if it's not real hectic, then I'll pull over someplace and sleep for an hour, sitting behind the steering wheel, and I might do this twice a night and get 2 hours sleep, and then another hour during the day. Oh, I don't know how you survive.
It's not healthy,
on that.
and it's not healthy. And I've had doctors tell me, and as I said, I've had cancer twice in the last 5 years. And but the bottom line is, if I was back at my apartment trying to sleep, thinking, what if something happens while I'm not here? So I have this commitment that I have to do it. And but as I mentioned earlier, I could quit right now.
Yeah, but I don't think your heart would let you.
No.
Yeah, you're dedicated.
Yeah. This is my life.
This is your life. You chose it. Nobody chose it for you. You chose it, and God bless you for that.
Well, thank you.
That's fantastic. So let's talk a little bit more about the other charities and how it all works, because we're going to have your website up on the screen as well. So people, if they want to donate, you know, they can look you up and donate to the organization, because you run strictly on donations, right?
That's it.
And your pension. You spend all of your pension.
That's right.
To others and save nothing for yourself.
No.
So I think it's really, really important that people know about that and know who you are and recognize you on the street and give you the love back, you know. There's the big homeless camp right now. They're calling it the Wall or Tent City down on Franklin. And now that's where I met you the first time. I was down there looking around and trying to help people. I was saging. I was trying to sage and help people kind of just feel, you know, get grounded back with their native spirituality. And that was a pretty interesting moment there as well, because that has grown so big, and it keeps growing and keeps growing and keeps growing. And you're there, you said, every night.
I think I've missed 4 nights in 3 months, and twice when I had cataract surgery. And but then I try to make it up other times, and then not only try to go during the day, maybe for 45 minutes or an hour, pass out bus tokens and different things, and then a few times a week I'll pull in there at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. And you still have some people that are out with fires, you know, little bonfires to try to stay warm and so forth, and pass out a few tokens. And there's nothing good about weather like this, but a lot of the food that I bring is like it's refrigerated. So I usually leave a lot of extra food, which I do every night, and that when people wake up in the morning, there's going to be something there for them.
Oh.
And but I hope the city gets something together, because this is pretty tough to. You know, I bring hand warmers and a lot of different things, blankets. The next week I've got another 120 blankets coming in. But you can have all the blankets you want. It's still not home.
You're still outside. You're still at risk. And now they've put up this warming tent.
Yes.
To try to get people at least a place to go and have a warm meal and get out of the cold. I mean, it's not really even at 30 degrees. It's not that cold yet. Minnesotans is relative, right? But when it gets below zero, that's going to be really
and with a lot of snow and whatever. No.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that the city has not work quick, you know, a little bit quicker on the whole thing, but I don't know. That's why even when I am there at 1 o'clock and 2 o'clock in the morning, I try not to keep my voice too loud, because people hear my voice, and then they'll come out of the tent, and then they lose some of the heat. So I try not to. I just kind of check to make sure everything's okay, and
leave some food outside for them.
Leave some food, and there's so many other stops that I make every night.
Yeah, you know, you just don't stop. On your way here, you had like 5 stops.
Yeah, I know. I was lucky that the weather was not like it was yesterday. I wouldn't be here right now.
Yeah, right.
But this is what I do, and my phone number on the van, so it's pretty easy to recognize the van. It says "Love one another" on the side with my phone number on both sides in the back. But I don't complain, and I wish things were better. But it's like the message I give to everyone: things could be better, but they could be worse. Be thankful for, and giving examples. There's certain places around the world where you can't even find water to drink.
Right.
Many places. So, and I just say, keep the faith, and I'll do what I can. And I have a hidden goal to get hundreds of people off the streets every year. And the advantage I have there is that being that I'm the only one that I see, I'm talking about in the middle of the night, there's an opportunity to spend some time with people. And surprising how many people haven't had any contact with their family for a long time. And sometimes they have to change certain things that they do. But it works. It works.
So what would it take for you to feel like you could relax? Because you obviously don't relax. It's probably the most relaxed you've been all day.
No, this is. And I mean, I know that right now it's in my mind. I've got 4 events I'm supposed to be at tomorrow. And the weather was so bad last night. Church in St. Paul had made sandwiches today, so it just goes on and on. I've got, as I said, 4 things tomorrow, not counting my working all night in the streets, but it always seems to work out.
It does work out because you're doing all the right things for the right reasons.
That's what
bringing sandwiches to. Are they just your basic sandwiches?
Well, most are turkey, bologna, cheese. We use no pork or anything. And again, I don't pay for the vast majority. A lot of people go through Coburn's delivers, and they buy and then I go out and speak. They usually want me to go out and speak in the group and so forth. And then we also did 240,000 energy packs. Wow. Where, you know, you can go to Sam's Club or something and buy 2 or 3 or 4 different kinds of energy bars and put them in a baggie and seal it. Yeah. And there was one the other day, one of the insurance companies in Eden Prairie put 1,000 of these together for us. Oh. And so it saved us, I mean, as far as money's concerned. And clothes,
yeah, a lot of clothes come in. I've seen
a lot of clothes. I've got someone through a wonderful man that sells cars and trucks in Hudson, Wisconsin. And he uses my website. And last year he brought in a couple hundred coats. Wow. And a couple churches in Delano, and I don't know, it just goes on and on. Yeah. In the apartment that I live in, I can barely walk in there, besides the 17 freezers. And my younger brother has a place in the same building. He's in Florida most of the year, and he has some health problems, so I use his 2-bedroom apartment also for storage.
You have freezers there too?
No freezers, but clothes like you would not believe, and wonderful clothes.
Because 17 is a lot of weight.
Yeah, it's a lot of weight.
Reinforce the floor?
It's pretty solid floors, plus they're spread out. Oh, okay. And these are the upright freezers, so it's not like the old-time freezers that were really heavy. Yeah. And then I have them plugged in different outlets around the area.
I could see the meter out there going.
But the organization, or our organization, Love One Another, has never paid anything to use that apartment. Not even. No, I won't take any money from the organization. Not even electricity. I pay for that. Well, and I know legally, the CPA and everything says, why do you do that? I said, no, this is the way it is.
They've offered, though, haven't they?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and you won't take them up on it?
No, and again, who's our board? Well, Frankie Richardson. She was in my 5th grade class. Frankie's now, I think this week she's turning 61. And Dennis Massey's 59, his brother Trace 57. And the only one that's not from the inner city is my younger brother, Lanny. And when I had Pretty difficult surgery in 2013. About an hour before they put me under, I said, well, will you take over the program if I don't make it? And he, with a little humor, said, I'll take it over. It'll be the same thing, no salaries. All these different places will receive all these things, but I won't be on the streets all night like you. And so we kind of laughed, and so that's the backup plan, but I don't worry about it.
So is it the reason that you are the only one out there? It seems to me like you could do some type of a tag team thing, right?
Well, you can't find another organization. They all think I'm crazy. I've asked him.
But they're there coming and bringing blankets and food
well, that's not
and
at
sandwiches.
night. That's not at night. And they're not bringing it to me. I go to them.
Okay. But then you go pick it up.
I go and pick it up and whatever. But I've asked a couple of organizations, and they looked at me like, are you out of your mind? And because I do this all night.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen anyone, there's a lot of wonderful organizations, but I haven't seen anyone like out on the streets at midnight, 1, 2, 3 in the morning, where you get people that are stranded or whatever.
Yeah.
And even when, even in the winter when it's really cold, I make a point to try to go to as many bars as I can to see if anyone's passed out.
Oh, sure.
They may not be homeless, but very often I'll find someone that's just too much to drink. They couldn't get to their car.
And what do you do with them?
Detox, usually call a family member first and try to work something out there if they've got a home or whatever. And a lot of them have thanked me. And there's
better than just being thrown out on the street, right?
Well, this is it, and some to pass out. And then I've had too many people over the years that have lost fingers and toes and everything in toes.
Yeah.
And so I warn them, no. And that's why the socks, we were very fortunate we get some really heavy-duty winter socks, winterized. In one place next week, the Lions Club, in one of the Lions Clubs, has got 500 hand warmers for me.
Lovely.
That I'll pick up next week.
Lovely.
Along with some sandwiches and other things. So
have you seen the trend of it getting worse?
Much worse. For homelessness.
Yeah.
Not even.
And hunger.
Oh, and hunger too.
Children hungry in school?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. When you mentioned of some of the schools, in suburban schools that you wouldn't think, no, there can't be that many problems, that actually put food together. You know, just saying, it doesn't, you wouldn't have believed it a few years ago.
Yeah.
And that's why when someone calls me from out of town, I always mention to them, make sure you take care of your own community too.
Right.
I know
we have like Feed My Starving Children.
Wonderful organization.
Yeah, but do they do anything locally, or is it all overseas?
Well, no. They don't, not to my knowledge, I don't think they do. Actually, I should talk to them sometime. They've made sandwiches for me.
See, I think that would be
a couple different times, but I always encourage people, if through churches or organizations, that they have an opportunity to go and do this, because it's a wonderful organization. Wonderful.
Yeah, but if they could do locally as well,
That's
would
right.
be nice. Yeah.
And but this is as I said, this is different, and it's something you wouldn't have imagined. And being that I grew up in Minneapolis, I remember Minneapolis in the olden days. And see, I haven't mentioned to you that I'm going to be 93.
What?
I'll be 93 years old.
No way.
In 20 years.
Oh.
Sorry about that. Usually when I speak, the first thing I start out with, I was at 3M the other day. I said, I can't believe I'm 93 years old. And, ooh, in 20 years. What do you mean in 20 years? So now I have a lot of elderly people, they're telling me, they say, yeah, when I see someone now, I tell them that I'm going to be 90. 90 in 10 years. So, but I don't know, sometimes I feel like that with my arthritis and everything, but.
Well, your arthritis isn't going to get any better walking out there in the cold all night long.
I know.
Yeah.
And then people see me without gloves or a hat.
Yeah, because you keep giving it all away.
Well, I do that, plus the fact my arthritis, seriously, is so bad that for me to try to move around with the coat or whatever, so I wear the thick shirts, one or two of those, and I don't know. But as I said, I don't complain. I don't complain. I feel blessed.
Yeah, you are a blessing to many, because so many would not have coats, sandwiches, hand warmers. And having you patrolling the Twin Cities area, do you go outside the Twin Cities as well? Or
Well, the other day, I mean, sometimes I'll go in, like if there's homeless people in Burnsville.
They're
are some
everywhere.
places now where I give some people in a couple suburbs, I won't mention that, and I've talked to some McDonald's, and I said, no, you're open all night, there's some homeless people here, and they feel more secure there than trying to go into the city and so forth. I'll say, I'm going to give them a few dollars every night, And as long as they spend some money and stay in the corner and not cause any trouble, they let them stay there. And they can buy a couple of hamburgers and maybe a couple coffees.
That's a little bit unusual in this day and age.
That is.
Yeah.
And I've talked to some said, no. What do you mean no?
Yes.
And I always say, what if you were homeless?
Right.
Would you appreciate it?
Yeah.
So, and I said, I guarantee you there's not going to be any alcohol, there's not going to be any crazy. And I've never had a problem. Never had a problem. So a lot of people say, well, this is crazy. I says, no, it's not.
No, what's crazy is not helping people.
Well, that's it. In the olden days, when
that's why we're in this situation as it is.
That's it. In the olden days, when someone would say, "What? You took 40 kids to the roller gardens?" And the same was part. Sure did. How come they all behave? That's just the way it is. Part of it's your expectations. Plus, the people know you care, especially when they see you at night.
Yeah.
So I've never had a kid all the years that I taught. No fights in my classroom. No problems.
Wow.
But I really appreciate it. Now when I see those same kids, it's a joy knowing that the vast majority are doing well. And not just because of me, but maybe that helped a little, whatever.
Well, you like to think so, right?
Oh,
that you're paying it forward and the people are benefiting, and then they're paying it forward.
That's right.
So,
that's what it's about.
Yeah.
And the policy is different too, because the other day I helped someone with some rent, and I said, with a couple $100, and he says, well, I'll try to pay us. And I said, no, I don't want it back. And they go, what? You go help somebody else?
There you go. See, that's paying it forward.
That's what's more important.
Yeah. And everybody benefits then.
That's right.
I just really appreciate what you're doing. I think from the moment I met you, I just put my hand in my wallet and pulled out every dollar I had and gave it to you and said, "Keep going, buddy, keep going."
And yet we don't ask. Yet we don't ask for money. When I go out and speak,
you didn't ask me for it. It was automatic.
When I go out and speak at a group, I have never said, "Please write a check." Never. And I ask people. Some people come back and say, "No wonder you don't have a building." No. But I always say, and I truly believe God provides. Mm-hmm. Just in general, God provides. And I mean, who else has 17 freezers?
I don't know. I don't know. I've never heard of anybody having. I know people that have a couple freezers in the garage, but not.
And then we've
17.
got churches around. We got 7 churches and a couple of insurance companies that keep freezers in their locations, and so people can drop off things there. And a lot of other food too. A lot of schools or a lot of organizations, they'll have a banquet or something, and if they order too much food, they call me and I pick it up.
Oh, that is so cool. So they just seem to know, everybody knows to go talk to the sandwich man.
I wish more did, because there's too much food being thrown away now.
Well, that's what we're doing here. We're trying to get more people to understand that.
That's right.
And even, can grocery stores help you out too? Because they throw that stuff away. It's perfectly good.
They can. In some of the big stores, I won't get into names, but they'll pay pig farmers to come in and get a lot of the expensive food, deli and so forth. Pig farmers.
Pig farmers.
The pigs are eating good. And this is kind of crazy. This is crazy.
So why is there some sort of ordinance that says that they can't? Or
no, a lot of them say, well, we don't want to get sued. And first of all, you have to really check, because I had a gas station, and I went in and I talked to the gas station, and the president of the station said, if you sign this liability agreement, which I did, and I get food from different places.
Yeah. But it seems like there's so much waste.
Unbelievable.
And how simple would it be? I mean, there's dumpster divers out there, right? They go out and they go hang out behind the restaurants and behind the grocery stores, and they go, and they're perfectly good food. And why are we driven in this day and age to have people that are
That's right. And we have
having to scrounge?
We have individuals we have basketball players making $1 million a game.
Yeah.
This is insane. When you look at shoe contracts and whatever, and we're looking at the sports teams. Mm-hmm. I'm still waiting to hear from the sports teams here in the Twin Cities. Not for money from me, but something to help people. And I don't understand it. I don't understand it. So
I don't understand that either. And it's I guess it's just part of our capitalist society right now.
That's it.
I would never pay that kind of money. I don't even like to go watch sports. Sorry, folks, but you know, it's expensive.
Very expensive.
And because you have to pay for their salary now too, right?
That's
so
right.
It's expensive to get in. The food inside is expensive, and they probably throw half of it away again.
Well, a
too,
lot
right?
of it is, and then you look at the owners. I mean, the owner, I've never met any of the owners, but the owner of the Vikings, the value of the team now is 3 times what it was when he bought it, with the new stadium and everything.
Yeah.
And yet, I don't know. We send letters out.
And there's people living all around
That's right,
that stadium,
all
homeless.
around. Last night at 2:30 this morning, 3 people were walking from there to get to the. Hopefully, they could get it in one of the tents. Seriously, it was about quarter to 3 this morning, and we got them over there and everything, and I gave them some food and some bus tokens and that. But I don't know. I don't understand it.
No, it's. I think I actually understand it, but it's not right.
That's
it's
right.
not the right thing. It's not the thing that makes you feel good. I mean, you need to do good things for people in order to feel, you know, and do that right thing, pay it forward, be of service. And I say that on just about every one of my shows, that you have to, well, you don't have to, but it's a much better life if you're
Much better.
Yeah, but I think I know you won't take help, but you could probably use a helper.
And I mentioned to people too that I take some trips, like when I go out and speak. Like my brother has a place in Florida, West Palm Beach, and I have not been there. But last year I took, I think it was 49 trips south.
Oh wow!
Now you have to ask me where. I was
Where?
in Burnsville 11 times. My humor again. I was in Burnsville. I was in Lakeville, Apple Valley. No, that's not south. Sure, it's south. So.
Yeah, people ask me where I'm from because they say I have an accent. I always say I'm from the South Minneapolis.
That's it. So. But,
so your website, www.363.
Well, www.mrdinc.org. But if you look at 363, there's also, you can find it through there.
363days.org.
Yes, and that's people in the van. When I drive by, they'll look at the side of my van. They'll say 360. What days do you get off? 363. And then I explain that no, the church that I was involved in 20 years, 30 years ago, in Salvation Army Catholic Charities, would spend all this time to prepare a meal for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And I would show up at the meeting going, no, what about Christmas and things? You know, take those 2 days away. What's left? 363
Right.
days. So
I got to wrap it up, Alan. They're giving me the signal
No problem.
here. So thank you so much for being with us. God bless you.
Thank you.
And
Thank
thanks
you so
for joining us today on Real People. Stephanie Allensworth with Mr. Alan Law. Thank you.